Hello, my name is Lauren Diapoli, and today I'm going to be talking about green foods. Since it's March, which brings to mind the color green, and it's finally spring, which brings lots of budding new life to the earth, on the menu today we're going to discuss a variety of foods that are the color green, and we'll talk about the benefits of each of those foods and different ways to prepare and eat them. First, I'm going to dive into some information about spinach, since Friday, March 26th is actually National Spinach Day. Flavonoids are a diverse group of phytonutrients which regulate cellular activity and fight off free radicals and cause oxidative stress in the body. So they can help the body function more efficiently and help protect us from environmental toxins and chemical stressors. Spinach is rich with flavonoids, and these have an anti-cancer and antioxidant property and help break down nutrients in other foods because they have a bile acid binding activity, and they contain amylase, which is the enzyme that breaks down carbohydrates. The phytonutrients in spinach are also anti-inflammatory, and these phenolinic compounds are responsible for a large range of biological and functional properties in our bodies. So a little bit more information about spinach. Spinach contains hormones that keep you fuller longer. It also reduces inflammation, as I just mentioned, and has antioxidant properties. It activates also the gene that is involved in metabolism, one of the genes that's involved in metabolism. And since kidney stones are mainly composed of calcium oxalate, cooking spinach is going to be the ideal way to consume spinach if you're someone that suffers with kidney stones, because cooking it drastically lowers the amount of oxalic acid. So you can eat cooked spinach as a side dish or as a main dish in quiche or in enchiladas. I like to use it to make all different kinds of dishes. Like I add it into my baked cedar, I add it into my Mexican food, but of course you could also have it raw as a salad. And I'm going to discuss some quick ways we can add all of the foods I'm going to discuss today into our weekly routine. So this is a basic cold spinach dip, which you usually see around the holidays, but I like to make it all year round because it's creamy, it's comforting, delicious. It also is, packed with nutrients, and it's a great pairing with a crudité platter. I omit the bread bowl part. If you're a non-dairy person, you can make this with a vegan cream cheese or almond or coconut yogurt. They have great vegan cream cheeses on the market now. My favorite is Mayoko's, which is made with cashew, I believe. I get it at Whole Foods. They have a ton of options there at Whole Foods. If you do dairy, you can use Nutrichol cheese, which is very similar to cream cheese, but it has no fat and it has less calories. If you're not trying to watch your weight, or your doctor suggested that you gain some weight, you can go for the regular cream cheese, and you could also use sour cream instead of the yogurt, but then you won't get the bacterial benefits of the yogurt. You can just use a full fat plain yogurt. You process the cheese and yogurt together in a food processor with a whisk, and you blend in the spices. And then after the frozen spinach is thawed, you're going to squeeze it out into a colander and get the liquid out, and then mix the spinach into the creamy mixture and refrigerate it for an hour or so, and then serve it with cut up vegetables of your choice. Sometimes I just have this for lunch. It's loaded with nutrients, it's filling, and the yogurt and cream cheese mixture provides a lot of protein. So avocado contains phytosterols, which help lower cholesterol. They contain carotenoids that protect the cells, especially the cells in the eyes. They're primarily made up of omega-3 fatty acids, which are the good fats, and they help prevent cardiovascular disease. Since they're made up of good fats, they are calorically dense. One medium avocado is about 250 calories. So if you're watching your caloric intake, if you're trying to lose weight, you don't want to eat numerous avocados a day. But if half an avocado a day works great to provide a lot of different health benefits. Ideally, you would eat less saturated fat and eat more fats like avocados, almonds, walnuts, and seeds. One serving of an avocado has 3 grams of dietary fiber. This helps prevent coronary artery disease, diabetes, and a various number of intestinal conditions. The high fiber and high fat content of avocados helps lower insulin resistance. It stabilizes blood sugar and can alleviate constipation. It also increases the feeling of fullness, which in turn can help you lower your body weight. You can add it to omelets, tacos, burritos, wraps. You can use it in place of mayonnaise on a sandwich. You can add it to a smoothie or a shake to make it a little more creamy. And you could have it sliced up with a little hot sauce or sprinkle of pepper as a side with your breakfast or lunch. It's fairly versatile since it has a very mild flavor. You can add sliced avocado to a salad that either has fruit in it or a fall salad that has like butternut squash or other cut up vegetables. And you can put avocado on toast, which is a very common one now. Here are some options for avocado toast. You can put an egg on top. You can put a small smear of cream cheese or butter and add some spinach and sliced avocado. A common one is putting seeds on top. Trader Joe's has a seasoning called Everything But the Bagel. Has like sesame seeds, poppy seeds, onions, garlic. That's really good on top of avocado toast. Or you can make a bruschetta with a crunchy bread and put avocado underneath that. So this is the classic way to use avocado, guacamole, which obviously is served with Mexican food with some tortilla chips. I suggest using unsalted. You could also put this on top of a taco salad. You can even just eat it with a spoon. If you want to just make a small amount, you can just use one avocado and then obviously decrease the other ingredients. But once you make it, it has to be eaten immediately or it will turn brown. Or a little tip for storage, if you want to save some guacamole for later, you can cover the top with some lemon juice. And then when you want to eat it later, you just dump the lemon juice out and then mix it up. It'll have a little bit more of a lemony flavor, but it will stay fresh underneath because the avocado isn't interacting with oxygen. And you could also use water, then it'll make it a little runnier and it doesn't give it that amazing lemony flavor. Okay, now this is a less common food in our culture. We don't really eat a lot of seaweed, but there's numerous health benefits to it, which is one of the reasons a lot of people in Japan have low risks of breast cancer, is because they eat a lot of seaweed. Some of the ways we can work this super nutritious food into our diet is I'll discuss on the next page, but seaweed is a good source of protein, carbohydrates, fiber, minerals, and polyunsaturated fat. Various types of seaweed contain vitamin C, vitamin B, vitamin A, vitamin E. It also is a good source of iron and iodine. Seaweed also has antioxidant properties and reduces inflammation. It helps regulate blood glucose and insulin levels and supports gut health. It is rich in iodine, which helps thyroid function. And there's some research that has shown iodine can kill certain types of cancer cells, specifically breast cancer. It decreases the tumor cell size because it decreases the cells in general. These studies showed that molecular iodine was effective in doing this, and that's not exactly shelf stable, so you can't buy it in supplement form. So dietary iodine is your best bet for this. There are other sources of iodine if seaweed really isn't your thing. Dairy products like plain yogurt and also dried prunes are sources of iodine, but since we're talking green foods today, I'm going to keep talking about seaweed. So I'm sure most of you know sushi is a big source of seaweed, especially here in America. That's pretty much the only way we get a lot of seaweed. If you're not supposed to be eating anything raw because of the risk of bacterial and parasitic infection, you can get sushi that's cooked. Any shrimp, crab, or lobster sushi is always cooked. They don't serve you those fishes raw. They also have sweet potato sushi, asparagus, cucumber, cream cheese, and avocado sushi. So you can just custom order sushi or order some of the cooked sushi rolls. And this is an excellent way to incorporate seaweed into your diet without having to prepare it yourself. Another thing that makes seaweed consumption simple, Trader Joe's has a dried seaweed product, which is like a snack. It's like little crispy chips. It's salty, but it's not overpowering. And if you're someone who likes to cook and you wanted to make sushi, you could also make it with quinoa as opposed to rice. And seaweed salad is another way to intake seaweed. Whole Foods sells dried Wakame seaweed. Wakame? I don't know if I'm saying that right. And you can make a dressing with vinegar, soy sauce, sesame oil, sugar, ginger, and garlic, and then just add the seaweed, carrots, and scallions. That makes a nice, fresh, but a little salty salad. Or you can just throw some dried seaweed into a bowl with rice and sauteed vegetables, sort of like a Buddha bowl, but Asian style. And that adds like a nice, salty, nutritious crunch. Okay, so kale has been a big trendy food of the last couple of years for good reason. It has a high content of bioactive compounds. It's rich in vitamin C, vitamin A, phenolenic antioxidants, dietary fiber, and the macronutrients, calcium and magnesium, and micronutrients, dietary fiber, and micronutrients, zinc and manganese, and iron as well. So a Buddha bowl is a mix of colorful and delicious vegetables, all usually on top of a leafy green or grain. This is a versatile dish, so you can customize it with things that you enjoy, and it's a great way to get a ton of nutrients all in one amazing meal. So you'll cook sweet potato, you can cube one up and bake it for about 45 minutes, or you can just use frozen sweet potato from a bag, which they sell in most of the healthier stores like Wild by Nature, Whole Foods, and stuff like that. And then you just saute it and you can throw it in the bowl. You can also use butternut squash if you prefer. They also have that frozen. And then you're just going to put that in a bowl with the rest of the ingredients. This particular one has carrots, cabbage, red cabbage, kale, brown rice, chickpeas, and sunflower seeds. But you can really make it your own. You can use quinoa, lentils, black beans, any kind of nuts or seeds. You can also add avocado, cucumber, peppers, anything you really enjoy the flavor of and you would put in your usual salad. But this has a lot more nutrient to it. And then I talked about here my favorite kind of dressing, which is a tahini dressing. So you're going to put tahini and water into a blender and blend it until it gets nice and thick. And then you add olive oil and lemon juice. You could also throw some basil in there if you'd like. I love it. It's creamy and it has a nice citrus flavor. Okay, so our next food is celery. Now there's this myth that celery has negative calories, which is just not true. It has about 14 calories in one stalk of celery, but it does have vitamin K, vitamin C, and vitamin A, and it has a lot of potassium and some calcium and a little bit of iron. The potassium content in celery outweighs the sodium content, so it can help you stay hydrated. There's also some fiber in celery as well. It has antioxidant properties. It can relieve inflammation, lower blood pressure, and reduce cholesterol. There was also this fad of celery juice a couple years ago. Celery juice is not a magic cure-all. Actually, eating the whole celery provides more benefits than juicing it because you get the fiber in it. Celery can be a great addition to your daily intake. A lot of Americans only consume celery with buffalo wings or maybe in soup, but celery can just be a crunchy, delicious side or snack. Since low in calorie, it packs some nutrients, and I'm sure a lot of you have heard of ants on a log, like peanut butter and either like chocolate chips or raisins. That's kind of like a dessert version, or you can use almond butter, or you can fill it with cream cheese, or if you're someone that likes blue cheese, you could put blue cheese in it. And you could also use it with the spinach dip I talked about. But I'm talking about braised celery here, which could be used more as a whole meal in a sense, because you can add some lentils to it or some beans. So for this recipe, you use a large pot over medium heat. You add the celery and you cook it until it's brown. You should put the olive oil in it first, and then you can add garlic and toss it to coat. Once it's fragrant for, cooked about 7 minutes, then you're going to add some salt, wine. If you don't use wine, you can use it like a rice vinegar or something like that. And then you add any herbs that you want to add. You could add rosemary, a pinch of oregano. And then you're going to cover this with broth and stir in the lentils, and you're going to cook it until the lentils are cooked. So this is a delicious, sort of comforting way to get some celery in that's not just eating it as a snack. All right, so if you have any questions at all about what I talked about today, if you want to talk about anything else too that I didn't discuss, if you have any ideas for future presentation ideas, if you'd like recipes, anything at all really, I'm available via email. My email is laurenand@gmail.com. You can also text me, or you can reach me on my Instagram account, which is @feelgoodwithrealfood. These are the references that I used for today's presentation. And again, if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out. Thanks so much for listening. Have a great day.